Hey everybody, what's up? So, I'm going to try to film as much of this video tonight as possible. If you notice me wearing different clothes, it's because I'm kind of not feeling good tonight, so I may not get everything recorded. We'll see how far this goes. Um, Anyone that is mentioned in this video, please know that I'm not giving them special consideration or anything like that. It's just more that during the course of coming up with the idea for this video, a lot of names were tossed around in my head, kind of had to go back and forth on things, and really make a determination on how to discuss the topic at hand, and more importantly, more than anything else, I don't want anybody to feel left out simply because I'm mentioning certain people. There is a reason for all of this, and I hope that you understand that this is this is a topic video and kind of one that's been bouncing around my head for a long time. Um, the main reason I want to do this video is so we can kind of open up a discussion and maybe see what people think. The topic is actually obsession versus passion. Now, one of the things that actually really started the idea of the video, the truth is, if you saw my last Pecos video, one of the things you would see that I purchased, and it wasn't expensive, it was about $6, but it was something I've been wanting. That's a pirate flag. Several years ago, I was reading a webcomic called Short Packed, and actually saw a banner for a music group called Captain Dan and the Scurvy Crew. Now, I had not heard of them, of course, and I was kind of interested in it. And I went into YouTube and I started watching their videos. I really enjoyed it. Captain Dan and the Scurvy Crew are one of my favorite bands now, and I've never got a chance to see them live. I, in fact, actually watched America's Got Talent just to the point where I could actually see these guys perform, and I thought they got booed off the stage way too soon, but their music is of a certain taste. And I don't think that you necessarily have to be 100% into pirate culture to enjoy their music, but it does help with some of the words. Now, the reason why I tell you this story is this. After buying their first CD and listening to it, I kind of got interested in pirate culture, pirate history actually more. And I bought a couple of books, really started getting into it, and started reading and bought a couple of pirate ships models. And along the lines, someone says to me, "You're obsessed with pirates." Now, I don't consider it to be an obsession because there are people that go to these festivals, they dress up like pirates, they make their own costumes, they do a lot of stuff. Even then, I don't think of it as an exact obsession. What I think of it as the passion is a passion for something they enjoy. Kind of like people who are cosplayers. They're doing what they love. Now, is there a point where a passion becomes an obsession? Of course. Um, we hear that someone's become obsessed with someone and they become a stalker and things like that. I think that's the extreme. I think there are extremes in everything, and I will get to that here in a little bit because there are a few things I'm actually going to mention where I think a passion does turn into an obsession, and that's where it starts hurting. But back to the story. So I had mentioned to someone that I had gotten this flag, and they said, "Oh, you're not obsessed, are you?" I don't know if they were joking or not, but it kind of got me thinking. Now, I do watch quite a few YouTube channels, um, and they're not all about video gaming necessarily. There's different styles. And one gentleman who I watched does actually talk about a mixture of different things. He talks about his statue collections, movies. He has talked about gaming pickups in the past, and that's Hero Statue Collector Lou. For everyone that I mentioned in this video, I will put a link to their channels below, just so you can kind of go and check them out. One of the things that Lou's been doing a lot lately, and more, is he's been showcasing off the statues that he buys. And he does, he talks about them, he shows the variations that they can come in, the choices of the poses that like if they have extras that you can use, that he wants to put them in. And one of the things about Lou's channel is Lou doesn't come off as kind of like having an obsession with his collection. It's more of a passion. He does showcase everything that he has, and um, I really do think that that passion is very evident. Um, he had a link. I'm trying to think of the guy's name, who basically wears gloves while doing an unboxing. I'm like, that's a little bit, to me, that's a little bit too far. I don't understand the need to wear gloves. I'm like, if you wash your hands, you take care of things, you shouldn't have to worry about things. I do understand that people like to keep things in pristine condition, of course, but that's fine. But to me, Lou doesn't have an obsession with his collecting because it's his passion. It's what he does. He makes enough money so he can support himself. Um, I've never asked what he does. I don't ask if he has a family. That's none of my concern. I'm sorry, it's not my concern, but it's not my place to ask because Lou's evidently able to take care of himself and he will still do what he loves. And to me, that's what a passion is. You're being able to do what you want, but still taking care of all your needs. Now, I am going to go into something briefly. Um, the person who was talking, who had said that had an obsession with pirates, had a really big, in my opinion, obsession with World of Warcraft. Not on a high level, but anytime this person had a chance, if they weren't playing about the game, they were watching videos about it. If they were watching videos about it, they were talking about it nonstop. Um, and in my opinion, the person kind of really was getting too far into WoW. They would like play 72 hours nonstop once, they said, without barely eating, only drinking, very minimally going to the bathroom. But what turns this into an obsession is we look at, for example, the parents who played WoW and neglected their child to the point where the child died. You heard stories about people quitting their jobs or calling in sick a lot just so they could play the game. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but if you're playing a game to a point where it causes you to lose your job, you can't, you can't take care of yourself, your family, whatever, that's a problem. That is where the point becomes an obsession. Um, you know, and I think that's really where the line is crossed. For me, buying a book and reading about something is different than, you know, spending so much money on something I don't have money to eat. Or I can't pay for a phone that I need to use. Things like that, electricity, whatever. It's basically, that's where the point becomes an obsession. If you cannot take care of yourself or others because something has drawn you in so far, that's where the problem lies. That's where the problem becomes an obsession. If you look at video gaming, especially video game collecting, um, wonderful YouTuber by the name of Old School Brian. Brian tries to collect for a lot of different systems. He tries to get as much as he can. But the thing is, Brian does show that his family comes first. Um, he, does buy, he buys what he can afford. And I really think that that's the good thing. He's not being neglectful of the people around him. And a lot of people that I've listened to will say, well, if you're trying to get a full collection, that's bordering on an obsession almost. And basically, that's narrowing things down because there are a lot of people who are against full collecting. Because what you can do once you have a full collection, a lot of people do collect for very different systems at the same time because that's what they want to do, and they're able to meet their needs. I've known people who sold off collections because they paid their bills and they have something they need to pay off and they're trying to get the money. Now they're trying to get the games back. So to me, that's part of a passion because you're not letting whatever it is, whether it's a collection, whether it's um, really anything, you're not letting it impact your life. Um, to me, the obsession part almost becomes like an addiction when because really, when you hear about drug addicts, it's the people who, will steal from family members to support whatever it is. And to me, that, a lot of stuff almost becomes an addiction where you're neglecting your family and yourself. Then yeah, obsession and addiction is almost the same thing. A lot of people may disagree with that, but that's their choice. That's how they perceive it. Um, I myself, I love to read. Um, I love to play video games. There's a lot of stuff that I like to do, but I do try to make sure that I have money to get Meg cat litter, cat food, cat treats, so I can put gas in the car, so I can pay, you know, so I can pay for my computer, so I can pay for the things that I need. I need hearing aid batteries. Those aren't cheap. I have to take care of my responsibilities. And other things that I do, I can't see as being obsessed about because one of the main things is I don't spend a lot of money on things. Right now, I've been having to be very economical about what I buy. And, if because I have certain bills that I have to pay during the month as well. So if I buy a book for a penny, and spend $3.99 shipping, or I go to Goodwill and I buy books, it's because that's what I can afford. That's what I need to do. Um, and I'm not kind of there's something I kind of find interesting about the YouTube community, in any of them really, and this is where I kind of find that I don't know how to describe it. It's like I've almost never found anyone who has that obsession. I hear a lot of people talking about how much they pay for things, and I'm trying to think. It's kind of like when I was watching. I want to say it was Soft Otaku. I want to say that was him. Um, to where he has talked about how there are games that he wants, but he hasn't gotten because of the fact that of the price. And I have to agree with him. I mean, in the community, there are so many people who want something, but they can't afford it. And I keep looking at a lot of this stuff, and I keep seeing everybody has a passion. There's no real obsession out there that we see. Um, really, it's almost like everybody knows their responsibilities in life. Um, Woodland 37, we know about his daughter Isabella and how Carl has talked about. Well, I'm not. Yeah, yeah, he's on Two Fat Bastards. They mentioned by name. With Woodland, it's basically he talks about the stuff that he buys and how he's he's an example of somebody that I see that has a sense of passion, but he also has a sense of responsibility. He has talked about how he has sold games to pay, because he's needed the money, versus where somebody who's really obsessed with the game, statues, whatever, they may not do that. They may try to find other ways to make money. And while that is their prerogative, I do have to applaud someone for making that sacrifice. Um, because you're giving up something you love in return for something that you need. We all have needs versus wants, and I've understood that because, you know, when I moved, I had so many books that I had bought that were wants, and I ended up selling so many, only making $40 off of, you know, hundreds of dollars worth of books from when I was younger, and I was just like, it's what I had to do. I had to get rid of them somehow, and basically, it's just we have to do those things. You know, we have passion in the community. When Chris Shank was talking about how his roof leaked and he, you know, lost some games, there were people that were sending him, you know, things. And to me, you know, even in a community where we have passion, you know, people talk about, having, um, having somebody send them part of their collection, even if they're getting rid of it, just instead of selling it, getting rid of it. And I think that is something that we don't see a lot of. Um, but it really makes you stop and think. If we have this passion for the things that we do, whether it be in the gaming community, whether it be in the you know, comic books, movies, whatever the case. It's there, and it's that idea that we need to help each other. Um, it was actually HWC 1218 Chuck who was talking about how somebody sent him some games. It's just fantastic. Um, and I think that when we're willing to help each other out, that does show that our passion is coming through, because we're basically saying, here, you need this, take it, it's yours. Even you even have fellow gamers who are trying to sell stuff off. Going back to Woodland, Woodland likes football, American football. He loves it. He loves something that he loves, and he got some things. He's selling it back on eBay, not because he's a reseller, but because he wants to find the things that he wants to do. And to me, that's really awesome, because he's not taking from his child and saying, you can't have this because I want this. I know there are a lot of people out there who do that, I'm sure, um, who put their family before everything else, but he's kind of one of those ones that sticks out the most. Um, there's really a lot of different examples out there, people who do different things. We just have to look for them. Do I ever see somebody that I think has an obsession close to an addiction on things? I can't say that, because in reality, what we consider to be an obsession over a passion, or at the point where the obsession is an addiction, I don't look at that. I look at these people who, you know, um, who basically do talk about the things that they enjoy. It's kind of like, the interesting thing is, there's a channel called Elwin Games, Muzz. And Muzz has said, and I can't think of the name of it, I wish I'd looked it up now. He would trade his entire collection. He's got a pretty substantial one. He would trade his entire collection for one video game, and I was like, wow, that says a lot. Um, do I think there's an obsession within the community for certain things? Yes, I do. The fact that I think there are people who are willing to pay exorbitant amounts of money for certain things. I think there can be a problem with that, but that that's their choice. I can see spending $6,000 to $10,000 for a video game cartridge, where somebody might. And I don't know. It's I feel like it's not my place to judge them for what they do, as because we don't know how much money they earn, what they're doing to get these things. So overall, guys, all I gotta say is this: do what you love. Um, do what you know. Collect per. If you have a collection that you love and you take great pride in it, and you're not getting yourself to the point where you can't even take care of yourself, and I say keep doing it. If it is really what you love and it's your passion, then I don't see a problem with it. That's it, guys. I'll talk to you later. Take care. I was surprised I even got this done in one go. Bye.